been your biggest soccer mentor? Who's been the person who's been able to kind of guide you the most?
Okay, I would say my family, like my mom and my dad, and like my uncles.
Yeah.
And I would say all of my family, my sister, like, and my grandma and grandpa, everything is kind of my biggest inspiration. I'm very family oriented person. So like for me, it's always just, those are always who I think about 100%. Like it's doing it for them. Like I said, my mom is a track coach. She's unbelievable. My dad has worked as UPS. Obviously my uncles they're actors / comedians. So like seeing them already on the, like going out, seeing them, like it's, whenever I go out to LA, it's like they really motivated me to really want to keep going, because they're, they got to live in the entertainment, the Hollywood life. So seeing them is like, that's like, hey, and they always keep me grounded, like, hey, keep working hard. They come from the same area I came from, St. Louis. So when I see them, it's like, that's just motivation. And, and like I said, I would say I really come from like, God blessed me with like the most amazing family, from my aunts, my uncles, sister, grandma, grandpa, everything, because they really kind of paved the way for me. And knowing how to act, knowing how to adjust, really, just being around them has really paved me to be the man that I'm being, and hopefully I want to be. And in terms of like, I would say soccer, in terms of like a player or something like that.
Maybe player, maybe coach, whoever kind of helped you the most.
I would say, well, shout out, I got to give my youth coach, Dan Papard. He introduced me into soccer 100%. So like, I thank him for that. And like, I would say I've coached, his name's Dave Gearling, and he really kind of put me on that, like level of where like, I'm traveling, he really, like I said, he really kind of just showed me like the soccer aspect of things. Like, we're traveling, we're playing ball, we're winning tournaments. And he's the one who told me, he's like, hey, and my coach Dan Part to me too, like, hey, but a coach who really believed in me. Like, those are two coaches. And my high school coach, Steiny, I always had coaches who believed in me. And I thank God for that, because they really, helped me a lot. And also my first season, when I was in Estonia, I had a coach. He was amazing. He really believed in me, and like would stay at me after practice and like really just help me work on my game, because you really need that. You really need a coach who's gonna believe in you. I feel like that's everything. You need a coach or a mentor, or somebody who's gonna believe in you, who can really push you to your limits. And I thank God that I was able to have certain figures in my life that really believed in me and let me, show my potential. I would say it's knowing the environment. It's knowing how to, for instance, adjusting. Like when you play, thinking the game, thinking ahead. It's just little things that you wouldn't think of. But like I said, it's the talent pool it's unbelievable. And I said, I was playing 3 sports till I was 18. Mm-hmm. These guys started playing professionally when they were 18.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm when I came overseas when I was 22, I was playing catch up on terms of the soccer aspect, because it's like they've been doing this since they were 17, 18 years old. Like, it's
just the experience, just the institutional knowledge of the game. I'm tough. It's tough for you to kind of catch up there. It's just hard.
Yeah, it's really, like I said, if I always look back, I had a chance to go overseas when I was 16, 17, I would 100% do it, because it's like you realize you miss out on a lot when you're with those, like, those are prime years, and obviously no knock, like obviously the development I feel like in the States is getting better and better every year.
Yeah.
But but the academy, being able to live at how the academies work overseas, you live there, you wake up every day, you just playing, you're playing, that makes a world of difference than going to school, and I would say, having classes and all these external factors too. Like I said, over there, it's just soccer. It's just.
And even, I would even just imagine the coaching, like, because the coaching in high school, if you were just playing high school and club, you probably weren't getting the level of coaching expertise and knowledge that some of these guys were getting at the age of.
Oh, no chance. Yeah. Like you said, because, most kids, most academy kids, most coaches have a UEFA license, FIFA license. and they're getting coached by players with UEFA and FIFA licenses since they were 10 years old, probably. So it's like, people don't realize that those are prime years when you're getting those coaching in terms of being tactically aware, in terms of how to, just how to be a professional. It's everything, and growing up in that academy, you're gonna get exposed. I mean, imagine if you're 15, 16 years old, you get to train with Barcelona's first team for maybe a week.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that won't change perspective. You have no chance but to get better, So it's like,
exactly.
It's super important.
So, like you said, it comes down to opportunity, but like you have to be able, and like you said, have the mentality of being able to willing to embrace that like opportunity. Because like there's some people who are like, they may get exposed. Like if you're in a Barcelona academy, I'm assuming like you have the ability, you have the talent, but it's that mindset that you're missing, right? Maybe that's the difference between you and these players. And like that's the biggest thing that I'm so fascinated with when talking to different athletes. It's like, how do you feel like that mindset is innate? Do you feel like it's a product of your environment, product of your upbringing?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's I guess what do you think about that whole mentality piece?
I don't believe in luck, because I say I believe in God, but
yeah.
I don't even, but you get right place, right time is everything.
100%. For sure.
Like 100%. If you're at the right place at the right time, it doesn't matter, mentality is everything. But there's some players who maybe don't have a good mentality, but at the end of the day, they're at the right place, right time, and then they get a chance to go here. Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those things I hate to say luck, but that is so important, in terms of moving up, in terms of being where you want to be, in terms of, some players, like I said, talented players who play in small countries, talented, but they don't get the lack of lack of exposure, and they don't get as much love as playing for, like, if you're in a bigger country, playing, like, for instance, England versus Estonia or England versus Hungary. England will always have that higher rep, or if you're playing like Germany, because not saying there's a huge talent gap, it's just in terms of like just the pool of players in a bigger country is always going to be better,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like there's so many talented players all over the world. It's insane,
And I think another thing you're kind of talking about is the willingness to sacrifice, right? Like I feel like what sacrifices did you? I mean, you talked a little bit about having to leave, when you're 22, said you were fine with it, but again, it's still a sacrifice. There's a lot of players who I know who are like, man, yeah, I could go overseas, I could go on this showcase trip, because I think I know the company that you went through to do the showcase.
Yeah, I had an Asian who I was, thank God, because like I said, my agent I have now is he's unreal. Like he has clients all over in big clubs in Europe. Like he's like, and thank God that's like, I had another agent who I met him through there, but like this is my agent. Me and him been together since I started, and he's like, he's amazing, and he's what I had an agent an agent who's gonna work for you, who's gonna believe in you, and like he works for me, and he's top. That's all. That's awesome.
Say. Yeah, that's sweet. But like, I guess talk a little bit about the sacrifice. Right, to have an agent going to advocate for you, but you still have to be willing to get outside, because there's some people who think like, okay, you sign with the agent and you just kind of sit back and like he brings you all this stuff, and then you're like, well, I don't really want to go. I'm just thinking, even if you just want to stay in the States, like, who really wants to go? I don't want to go there. I don't. Yeah. But like, I guess tell us a little bit about like the sacrifice needed to go to these different countries, these different opportunities to be able to advance and, like you said, get that next opportunity.
It's like, I would say it depends on the person. So thank God I don't have kids, or I don't have a family or wife right now. So I can just go somewhere. If you have a wife, kids, and it's like, okay, maybe you have to think about it. But like I said, I play with all my teammates have wife and kids. So I don't know. It's preference, like, because I guess back home in the States, other players have other options. They have a degree. I mean, I have a degree, but they have a degree. Like, I'd rather just work a 9 to 5. I'd rather just do that. Over here, they don't have these options. This is their paycheck. This is how they eat. you know? So it's like, if they have a chance to go and opportunity to make income for their family doing what they love, and they're going to do that 100%. But for me, I would say it's just like, okay, yes, the States is a good life, but you got till you go back to the States when you're 30, you have the rest of your years to live in the States.
That's
How
true.
often you get to go overseas, play, earn an income, save, being able to travel the world, meet new people. You can, like, that's something that you can't put a price on that,
Yeah, that's so true.
So it's like, it's one of those things. I look at it and said, hey, it's preference. But for me, like I said, this is what I love. This is what I'm continuing to move up, and I'm continuing to do well. And I can't, I just, it's something that I love to do, and that's kind of one of those things. I was like, I want to settle down. I talked to my agent. I was like, man, I want to sign a 3-year contract. I'm tired of moving, but at the end of the day, it's everything has to line up right. So it's one of those things. If all the dots, and everything lines up, then we'll see. But for right now, I don't know.
You're happy where you are, happy being able to travel.
We'll see. I mean, I just got here in Ireland, so we'll see. But I'm enjoying it so far. So
that's sweet, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I think that speaks to a lot of like you said, where you're at, but also just a little bit about your personality, that you're willing to embrace and see it, because other people will see this like, man, this is a drag having to move, move all the time. But you're like, man, this is a chance for me. I'm in my 20s. I don't have any thing holding me back right now. Like, I don't got any kids right now. Like, let's go. Like, let's experience life. And I think that's the big thing. I think talking to other people through this series is just like being open, right? Being open to new experiences.
You have to be open, because you have to be able to assimilate.
Yeah, because like everybody has this idea of what it's going to be like, and it may not be that. But like you said, you got to be able to kind of go with the flow, assimilate to what's going on, and be ready for the next opportunity. I guess my next question kind of feeds on that. It's like, how tough is it for you to be able to earn that next contract? Because I do know, talking to different people, especially, I feel like it's maybe a little bit more here in the States, like the USL. It's like there are more options, but it's like usually it's like you have a 10-month contract, or you have a 1-year contract. It's really difficult to even earn a multi-year contract for the lower levels.
That's actually a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say, like, I always say, your first contract, I always say, is the hardest, because obviously you're coming out of college, you're considered an amateur. People don't realize the amateur, like, it's crazy. I'll have to explain that another time to you. But like, the first contract is always the hardest. But like I said, my job is, like I always say, I do my job. I try to play well. And like I said, it's kind of easy to watch, because there's something called in-scout. It's called Instant Scout, and you can literally watch all the games. So my agent, he'll send out my CV, he'll send out, whatever, and they'll have people, they have agents, scouts, whatever you want to call it, coaches. Because actually, mainly I would say scouts, or maybe the president, sporting director, because coaches come and go. But coaches can also bring players to clubs too. That's a whole different story. But like I said, just do my job, because it's obviously like off season's always, you're a little antsy, because it's like, I don't know, where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
And it's getting to a point now. It's like, okay, it's you thinking about the season, that I'm going to have options.
Yeah.
And obviously, and thank God I was overseas when COVID came, because it would have been difficult probably coming back over here because COVID, because the country was on lockdown. And I almost thought about going back home when I was in Hungary, but I just didn't, because it was just, I might as well embrace where I'm at already. And we started training a month later. So, but I would say, focus on if you do your job on the pitch, you do your job throughout the season, then you'll have options 100%. So that's pretty much what I can tell you.
You're like, it sounds like just control what you control, right?
Like you, especially, you don't want to be. I remember my first season after Estonia. I had options to go here, there, all over, and I was like, so, because it was first like off season as professional. Like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like, and my agent, that's why, hey, I know how you're feeling. You want to get this done, but you don't want to rush into a deal and then you hate it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
you'd rather just wait until the timing's right, and then boom, everything lines up, and then you take the deal that's going to be the best for you. You don't want to rush into a deal just to get it done with.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would say, you have to stay calm, and you don't want to be on your off season thinking about a contract. I mean, yes, you're thinking you have to work out and everything, but you want to spend time with your family. You want to, because 10 months out of the season, it's strictly soccer.
Yeah. So it's like you want to be able to just enjoy your off season, enjoy your time.
You have to balance it. Like I said, balance is everything. It's a matter of balance. It's really when to have fun, when to be laser focused, when to just relax, when to just it's all comes in balance and in discipline.